Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm the Game Bastard Kyle.
I'm Todd.
I'm Corey.
I'm Austin.
Today we are playing Eat the Reich.
Thanks.
Fuck yeah.
Eat the Reich is a game that we kickstarted, right, Corey?
Yep.
And we got the web version. I don't think the printed copies are available yet.
Yeah, it came on a big scroll. I gave it to you.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
This is a game by Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. That is the company, as far as I can tell. I've never heard of them, but Eat the Reich is awesome.
Yeah. We're very excited to support this.
They also were the antagonists in Fantastic Mr. Fox.
That is true.
Yeah.
They were the farmers.
Interesting.
Eat the Reich is a game about playing vampire commandos that get dropped into Paris to drink all of Hitler's blood.
Yeah.
And I'm thirsty.
If you're thinking that's ahistorical, you are correct. They did it in Berlin, not Paris.
That's right.
This is a very specific RPG. It is specifically about that one scenario. There are no rules for a long campaign. You play vampire commandos in Paris trying to kill Hitler. That's the game. There are pre-generated characters. There are no rules for making characters. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the intro. The year is 1943. Europe is in flames. You are a unit of crack vampire commandos with a single objective: drink all of Adolf Hitler's blood and fatally destabilize the war machine. That's it. That's what you get.
Yeah. I actually really like how focused that is. And I kind of love the idea that there's no character creation. It's just these pre-gen, potentially regular characters for different modes of play. Maybe they introduce that mechanic later. I don't know. But even if not, this is pretty cool.
I kind of love the idea of Hitler being murdered by vampires.
Yeah.
I think it would make a wonderful con game.
Yes, absolutely. Great short session play and a lot of pulpy action.
So before we get into the rules, what vampires did you guys pick out of the 6 options? Corey, who you got?
I'm playing Cosgrave. He's a Hackney necromancer, taught by his aunt, I guess, to be vampiric.
Well, she taught him necromancy.
Anti-vampy. Medically dead, but can still walk around. Vampire. On the run from East London's undead mafia. Crooked as a 3-bob note, but charming with it. He has a lot of weird black magic tricks.
Todd, who you got?
Well, howdy, partners. My name is Chuck.
Okay.
And I'm your Huckleberry. I got me a couple of hand cannons, twin sisters by the name of Betsy and Maria, and we can't wait to do some rootin' and tootin' on them there Nazis.
Goodness.
Yes, Todd is playing an American cowboy vampire.
Yeah.
Yes. He's been on the run ever since I got a little hungry and ate a sheriff and his deputy back there in the old West, and just had to get out of the country, you understand. I got me some lashing tongue. I got me some acid spit like one of your xenomorphs of the future.
Austin, who do you have in your corner?
So I am Flint. I was born in a cave.
Right, but tell us about your character, Austin.
Yeah. I'm a half bat, half human monster hunter with a taste for blood.
Again, Austin, your character. So it's an open question in the game if Flint can talk. Can your Flint talk?
Yeah, we're going to say he can because that's boring otherwise.
Sure.
But it's probably, I want to say, sparing.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So he's got lots of monstrous abilities, like being ravenous. He can sense heartbeats. He can throw shit that's really big.
like a baboon.
He can throw a softball.
Wow.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nolan fucking Ryan, this guy is.
You get him in left field.
And I can fly.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Wait, don't you have a grappling hook?
Yep. Don't need it.
Well, I mean, maybe he just glides.
Yeah. No, he actually, if I spend 1 blood, you can fly. That's my ability.
So I guess you could use the grappling hook and not spend blood.
Yeah. So, yeah, the grappling hook and the claws and stuff, that's for close up. But, yeah, wings, I actually have wings for aerial combat.
So, speaking of blood, let's talk about game mechanics very briefly. This is a dice pool, D6 dice pool game. When characters are going to attempt something, the player assembles a dice pool, and they're trying to roll 4, 5s, and 6s to get successes to do the thing, to defeat an enemy objective or defeat a threat or something of that nature. Austin, if you were going to fly to do something, how would you assemble your dice pool to do that?
I don't know if flying would actually be the action that I take. I just get to spend a blood to basically have the state of flying. The rolls that I would make would be for things like aerial combat, in which wings would give me a bonus die.
Sure, but you could use the flying if you were like searching for something.
Yes. In which case, I would get a bonus to like search if I was trying to do, a bird's eye view of, a terrain that we're trying to seek. So I have a search stat of 2. So that would be my base dice pool.
Yeah.
If I was flying, that would mean I can get a bonus die to search. So I'd be rolling 3. And then if I got into a fight with somebody, not only would I have my bonus die for just flying, but I have a bonus for aerial combat. So that would bump me up to 4.
Now, do you have to spend blood to fly, period?
So it just says spend 1 blood, you can fly.
Right. So if you want to fly in the game and use that die from flying, you would have to spend a blood, which obviously being able to fly carries with it all sorts of advantages.
Well, old Chuck here, he's good at fixing stuff. He's got him a tool belt. And should he need to work on one of them there motorized wagons that they drive around in Europe, he could use his jerry-rigging and he would get an extra bonus. For instance, his fix is at a 4, so that would be 4 dice there, plus jerry-rigging. If he's doing some jerry-rigging, that would give him an extra die, so it would be a dice pool of 5.
Good explanation, Todd. Well played.
Kyle, how does one acquire blood?
Good question. So,
I mean, I know how I got mine.
Sure.
Built it with me heart.
Yeah, I too grow my own organically.
Yeah.
You're so fucking stupid.
Thanks. Built me own brain, I did.
I hate that it's technically correct. Okay, so this is a very open form game. Players have a lot of creative control as to the details. So I would kind of set the scene. You guys land in the middle of a cafe at the outskirts of Paris. And your objective is to get to cover. That's your first objective for your first scene, perhaps. You would say, okay, well, I'm going to try to do X, Y, and Z, whatever to accomplish the objective. You roll your dice pool, and you want to roll 4, 5s, and 6s, because those are your successes. During the accomplishment of any action, of any objective, you can always use your successes. So let's say in this scene, you say, I got 3 successes, I'm going to spend 2 to advance the objective, which means if the objective has a difficulty rating of 5, it would go down to 3. And when it goes down to 0, the scene is over and you guys have completed the objective. But you could also, for that last die, you say, hey, I'm going to generate some blood. Each success gives you 1 blood, and you narrate how in this scene, amidst whatever else is going on, you got blood. Which, for some of the vampires, it is literally drinking blood. Others, it could be more esoteric, or I think Todd's cowboy just eats dead carrion. I mean, you can drink blood or whatever.
Yeah, he is a corpse eater. Anytime he rolls a 1, he can turn that 1 into blood.
And there's a lot of freedom over how you narrate it. So your character, Cosgrave, is a necromancer. You can narrate, and I use a minor magical spell to exsanguinate a Nazi across the room and pull all that power into me, or whatever.
Okay.
But mechanically, it is from spending successes. And that's what you're going to do. Everything in the game, you're going to spend successes to either accomplish an objective, defeat a threat, reduce damage to yourself, get blood, activate specials, etc., etc., etc. And it will make sense as we play, but that's the long and short of it.
Okay.
I would also like to point out that Chuck also has a lashing tongue.
Is it his or somebody else's?
Well, it's his. If I spend a blood, my strong prehensile tongue extends several yards out of my mouth, and I get a plus if I'm being restrained when I do this.
I thought you meant you were a smart aleck.
So I will give you a tongue lashing there, partner. Between the tongue and the acid spit, he is kind of a xenomorph. I mean...
So, Kyle, you brought up a good point there, and that's something everyone should probably make note of. One of the most unique kind of aspects to the game is something that we'll have to get used to, but is very, very cool, which is exactly how much freedom we have in narrating the story as players. So really the only thing we're limited from dictating is the actions of other named NPCs that Kyle has direct control of. If we bring up, some nameless goon that trips over, a landmine we set or something like that, that's fair game. And that's us advancing the plot and the objective in the way that Kyle's describing.
It absolutely is. You have a lot of freedom. The limitations are, again, like you said, the named characters. And, of course, it has to make sense in the scene, right? And the context of the game, which this is a very fantastic look at the Second World War, but it would be out of the bounds to narrate an alien spaceship showing up. You work within the fiction. But in that fiction, in Paris, in fantasy 1943, in which there are vampires and black magic and occult technology, you got a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
Okay, questions before we get started? Would anyone like some cigarettes? It's World War II, so I got some cartons.
Yes.
Gonna give you cigarettes and German meth chocolate. The year is 1943. Europe is at war. Illuminated by the dull red lights of the bomber's hangar, Commander Slate paces back and forth on the steel plates of the plane's floor. The last 6 months have led us to this point. This is your final move. Your mission is to kill Adolf Hitler in his Zeppelin atop the Eiffel Tower. 3 reinforced steel boxes hang from the roof. From behind bulletproof glass in the lids, eyes stare forth with fierce determination. Your eyes. It's hot as hell down there, folks. Once you arrive, you'll be swarmed with Nazi scum until this is done and dusted. Commander Slate walks over to a large lever mounted towards the front of the bomber. Godspeed and good luck. She salutes the dropped coffins and throws the lever. The hatch is open, and you plummet from the plane towards the bright lights of fair Paris at dusk. You're a bunch of vampires dropping in steel boxes toward Paris. Welcome to Eat the Reich.
Okay.
So you guys are going to come down into what Fang has dubbed as Sector 3, which is on the outskirts of Paris, and you have to make your way across the city to eventually face down Hitler in the Eiffel Tower. So you have some options over where you could have been dropped. I'm going to give you 3 options. The Graveyard, the Place de la Sarine, or the Grand Magazine Martin. The Place de la Sarine, or is it Sarine or Sarine? I don't know. That is a neighborhood of classy bistros, cafes, and boutiques, well-to-do families drink coffee and eat pastries at outdoor hotels. The Grand Magazine Martin is a sprawling multi-level department store selling most anything you can imagine that can be imported from Germany. And the Graveyard is, well, a new German-only graveyard with memorials for many of the officers who died during the conquest of France. So, Graveyard, Grand Magazine Martin, which again is a shopping center. And it's, for those people that don't know, there were no malls in the 1940s, of course, but there would be multi-story department stores in major cities. And the Grand Magazine Martin is one of those. So it would be, I think Woolworths in New York was one of the more famous of these.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, it was one of the innovations of the 1970s to look at these department stores and go, instead of up, why not out?
Ah, yes, America at its finest.
Yeah.
What if this place that concentrated an activity and was easy to access became more inconvenient?
Exactly, and took up more land.
Yeah, yes, critical. Very important. We need space for our cars. Anyway, I hate America. Or the Place de Sarine, which is the relatively upscale neighborhood.
Here's the thing. There's not going to be any blood in the graveyard.
Well, you're a corpse eater, though.
There is for you.
Yeah,
Well,
True.
There will be opportunities for blood just about everywhere. So
The graveyard would probably be the most incognito place to land.
That's
Yeah.
my thing.
Rather than 3
Right.
coffins crashing into a department store.
is fucking metal.
I mean,
But the nice neighborhood, probably better food.
yeah.
And by
It's-
food, I mean rich people.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's dusk, though. There's going to be tons of probably uppity people shopping in the Grand Magazine Martin.
I say rich people, neighborhood.
Works for me.
I'm fine with that.
So as night is falling over Paris, the electric street lights are lit. The bistros, the cafes, the boutiques are illuminated. It's a tranquil night. Well-to-do families, the families of German officers mostly, drink coffee, eat pastries at outdoor tables. We all German officers or French collaborateurs, traders. There's a mermaid fountain gracing the center of the square. Your objective is to get out of the open and into cover. That is a 6 strength objective, meaning you need to allocate 6 successes to doing that. The threat in the area is a police patrol. There are a number of police patrols.
And do we know that threat rating, or does that stay opaque to us?
So police patrol, a standard police patrol is threat 4 and attack 2, and that's just a group of civilian enforcers with pistols, batons, and handcuffs. These are Frenchmen. Yeah, the French police department, like in most occupied countries, generally the police keep doing what they're doing and civil services continue in a civilized takeover. Above this tranquil scene, whistling through the night air, are your drop coffins. Now, I don't know if folks picked up on this. These are not parachuted in. Drop coffins are just dropped.
Oh,
Yeah. And each one carries one of you.
it's a good name for them.
Yeah, well, they workshopped it a long time.
Okay.
Coffin flopping into Paris.
Plummeting
I didn't
tens
do
of
fucking shit.
these are plummeting tens of thousands of feet, dropped out of the bay of a B-15. And you guys have done this before. The landing is not fun The last time you were basically turned into a sort of gristly bone paste. But don't worry. As you land, the pressurized pneumatics inside will spray your shredded form with high-quality nun's blood to rejuvenate you.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Which will allow you to begin the scene with 0 blood, but fully intact and operating at 100% vampire efficiency.
Okay.
So, in case you were wondering if this game was not yet metal as fuck,
It's super metal.
and not only is the premise really fucking cool, this book is beautifully designed. Congratulations to the developers. This is super cool.
Yeah, it is very reminiscent to me of Morkborg. So, Austin, your coffin's going to land first, then Todd, and then Corey. Where does your coffin smash into the ground in this Place de la Sarine?
Like in most affluent places where people are socializing, there is one rich asshole who is up on a balcony kind of serenading everybody with like just a guitar.
Oh.
Now, very importantly, is he singing in German or French? Or, God forbid, English?
I think he's singing in broken French. It's an American.
Henry Ford's cousin.
It's Lindbergh's nephew.
And my coffin lands vertically right on top of him, like just smashing into the stonework. All of a sudden, at one moment, he's there, and then in another moment, there's my coffin standing there, upright.
Smashes into this balcony, which is a testament to the French engineers because the balcony is not obliterated.
Well, nobody here built it.
But stonework blasts out along with this guy's smeared down the side of the building. People instantly start screaming. There's
Some
smoke.
clap.
Yeah, smoke drifting away. That cloud of shattered masonry.
Breaks his G-string.
Todd, where does your cowboy land?
Well, Chuck's coffin comes smashing down in the middle of the street, but then it skitters.
Sure.
And they're
Like
just
a hockey puck.
There just happened to be two French dudes in berets carrying a plate glass window across the street. And it smashes through that and then into a fruit cart.
Is it really plate glass windows, or are they mimes pretending?
Well, either way, they're upset.
Yeah, and then it crashes into a fruit cart and is still.
Corey, what about Cosgrave's coffin?
Cosgrave's coffin falls behind a cafe in an alley where a young Frenchman is taking out the trash, and it lands on him.
Of course, he has a cigarette hanging from his lips.
Yeah, not anymore.
So you're all putrefied. Nun's blood begins spraying inside the coffins. The carapaces crack. There's the high-pitched whistle of Parisian policemen. People are running and screaming because everyone, of course, thinks this is an Allied bombing run, but nothing explodes. And as the dust settles, everyone is looking as these coffins pop open and the three of you spring out. Again, your objective, get out of the open and into cover. And there are French police about, as long with a lot of civilians, most of which who are just innocent Parisians.
But there are Germans present as well.
Absolutely. In Paris, there have been a large number of German civilians, members of the administration who arrived to conduct occupation government. So I believe the way it works is I always pick the person to act because the NPCs really don't get their own turn. So, Corey, you went last, so you can go first in describing how you get to cover, which you crashed into an alley, splattered some dude.
Yeah.
Unfortunate collateral damage.
Yeah, so Cosgrave exits the coffin and looks down on the ground and goes, "Oi, free ground food!" Because he sees the blood everywhere and he just starts lapping it up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then he's in an alley, so he's in pretty good cover already.
Sure.
So he's going to continue sneaking.
Okay, so you're just going to try to sneak into the back alleys to kind of get away from the...
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously it sounds like you're probably going to use sneak.
Yes.
Sure. Are you tagging any equipment or abilities?
Cosgrave in his equipment has bottled ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you do.
Which allows him to pass through walls. Never cared much for doors, it did. So he's going to pop that sucker open and dump a ghost out, I guess. It's how it works. And
it works however you say it works.
And he's like, "Oi, Gerald!" And they hold hands, and the ghost makes him incorporeal, and they walk harmlessly through the walls and out of the scene.
How many uses do you get of this?
There's 3 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get an extra die for that.
There's 2 pluses. That's 2 die, right?
Now, what's the word next to the plus? What's
Pass through walls.
Well, okay. Turns out,
I think I got it.
I believe that means you'll actually get 3.
Right? Okay.
Because you get a standard bonus and then whatever bonus is
Gotcha.
attributed to the extra modifier.
And my stat I was using was sneak.
And so right now you're at 6 dice, right?
Okay.
Because you had a 3 in sneak.
Yeah.
1 from using a piece of equipment and 2
Then
from satisfying
Gerald.
the bonus from Gerald.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it again. Now your threat is 2 because there are police patrols running around. So you and I roll at the same time.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens.
So 1 through 3 is nothing in this game, right? And then 3 through 6 are successes, basically.
4, 5, and 6 are successes.
Or 4, 5, and...
Yeah, 6 are crits. Now, yes, generally 1 through 3 are nothing unless, like Todd's character, you have something that specifically allows you to use them.
Gotcha. Okay. Cosgrave got 2 2s and a 3, but also got 1 5 and 2 6s.
Okay, so
2
you get
crits.
Yeah, so you get rid of the 2s and 3s.
So that's a total of 5 successes, right?
Yep.
Right, so you got 5 successes. Just so you know, I did get 1 6.
Okay.
Now, for me, for the GM, 6s are nothing special. It's just still 1, I guess, threat against you, 1 attack against you.
Okay.
So start spending your successes. So you're trying to reduce the objective, which is 6.
Okay.
You probably want to get some blood, and you probably want to do something about the attack against you.
So I'm going to use 2 of those successes to reduce our objective number, which is 6, right?
Yes, your objective is 6
For all of us to get out.
for all of you to get out.
Okay, I'm going to use 2 of the successes for that. 2 more of the successes are going to be used to attempt to reduce the threat of the other cops.
Oh, okay.
Cosgrave does that by the wall he walked through is a family's living room.
Okay.
So they're shocked and start screaming when they see vampire and ghosts because their photos, this guy don't look right. He's not a dude, you know. So they realize it's
Yeah.
monsters in their house. He's like, "Oi, evening, folks!
An Englishman!
I'm gonna eat you!" And he murders them.
Sure.
And the screams, I'm saying, are going to attract a patrol
Turns out.
as he walks harmlessly through the other wall and escapes.
Okay.
And the remaining success I got, I'm going to add to my blood.
Okay, so you have a blood.
Yeah. And you have a success, which means I
do.
still get attacked.
Well, you're going to have an injury, which it's only a 1, so it's going to be mild. So roll a d6.
It's a 4.
So at the bottom of your sheet under injuries, what's the first box of your 4 rating, of your 3 to 4?
Sucking chest wound.
Jesus.
So the police are definitely distracted. There's all these screams, blood soaking the walls. And when Gerald is pulling you through the wall, he lets go of your hand for a second. And when you come out, there's a 2x4 sticking through your chest. He kind of has to rip you out of the wall. Sorry, Cosgrove. Slipped for a minute.
No worries there, mate.
I was thinking about my ex-wife.
Yeah, see you at the pub, I'd say that, but I can only use you once, so off to hell you go.
Okay.
Bye, Gerald. You've been a right mate there, mate.
Do you want me to help you with the 2x4?
Can you do that?
Well, I can get it out. There'll still be a big hole in your bloody chest. Here you go. And he reaches his ghostly hands in, which is cold and does not seem to be helping, and yanks the 2x4 out of you, which there's just a hole through you now, and blood is spurting out into the walls occasionally. So you're injured.
Hello there.
It has no mechanical impact, so just mark in the box for your 3
Sucking chest wound.
for sucking chest wound.
Okay.
And Gerald is dragged away to the afterworld. Austin. Corey has reduced the objective by 2 and reduced the threat of one of the police patrols by 2.
All right.
You're on a balcony. Panic is spreading, reasonably.
Yes.
As this huge vampire bat-like monster emerges from a coffin.
Yeah. So I'm going to make use of the chaos, and I'm going to use my stat of Terrify,
Okay.
reasoning that I might be able to clear enough spectators to increase our odds of finding good cover.
Sounds reasonable. There's a police threat of 2, or an attack. The police threat has an attack of 2.
Okay.
Oh, and I just realized there's 2 police squads. I should have rolled a 3 on Corey's turn, but I didn't. So they have 3 dice because there's 2 of them. So they take their base attack of 2 and then get 1 from the extra the squad. So what's your Terrify pool?
But didn't I reduce one of the squads?
You did. You did reduce the threat by half. That doesn't affect their attack.
Okay, gotcha.
It would only be 2 successes to totally take one of these police squads out of action.
Gotcha.
So my Terrify pool is 3.
Okay.
And I think I am going to go ahead and use some equipment because I'm going to use my steel gouging claws and ambush someone that's investigating the crash site.
You mean some of the half dozen policemen staring wide-eyed at this monster?
Yep. So that'll make my total die pool 5.
All right, and I'm rolling 3 for the police. Sacre bleu! I rolled no successes. They are too shocked to do anything on the threat.
I rolled a 5 and a 6, so I got 3 successes.
All right, how are you going to dole out your dice?
So I'm going to use one of those successes to get blood and 2 toward the objective.
Okay.
So after the coffin crashes and people are sent scattering and panicking, a few of the patrols close in to kind of investigate the crash site. One climbs up onto the balcony to see what the hell this is. There's a slow camera push in as the door kind of slowly slides open, but you can't see what's inside. And all of a sudden they just hear this.
That was good, Austin.
And this policeman screams as this black shape comes flying out, eviscerating him with these claws. This thing spreads its bat wings and kind of flies over kind of glides over everybody, silhouetted by the moon like in Batman, and then lands with a crash like in the middle of everybody. And it just sends all the policemen scattering as he lands, and then this shower of blood just follows him down from the policeman he eviscerated.
Classic.
So I got 1 blood from that.
So what I was going to say was you do have Ravenous, and you just eviscerated somebody. You could use the 6
As a special?
activate your special and get 3 blood and reduce the objective by 1 with your 5.
Ooh.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so the objective will only be reduced by 1. It's at 3, but you get 3 blood.
Great.
So the police are running and screaming, and a lot of them are tripping over themselves. It takes Chuck a minute to get out of his coffin because the lid is stuck inside of the car, and he's got to just kick it open. Then what happens?
Chuck steps out and surveys the chaos that's taking place, and he says, "Howdy, France.
Right.
Just wanted to let y'all know that I prefer my French fried potatoes with gravy, not kraut." And he, I think it would be logical that in a place like this that there could be like a horse-drawn carriage riding by.
Absolutely, there could be policemen on horseback.
Sure. So he is going to use his brawl to attack a policeman on horseback.
Okay, so what are you forming the base of your pool with? What stat?
Brawl.
Makes sense.
And it's a 3.
Okay, are you using any equipment or abilities?
No, the unfortunate thing about Chuck is most of his abilities require him to spend a blood.
Ah,
So I got to get some blood before I can, really show out.
okay. So you don't have any blood, so you're just going to drop kick a horse.
Right.
Oddly enough, not the first time that's happened on Bastard Quest.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, he's going to try to pull the policeman off of the horse and bite his neck.
Right.
Have a drink.
Okay, so the police in the scene have 3 dice.
2 2s and a 4, so 1 success.
Now, once per session, and you don't have to do this now necessarily, when you roll 2 successes or fewer, you can trigger a flashback to spur yourself on to victory.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to do that.
Chuck really seems like he's got plenty of flashbacks to be had.
Yeah.
So you're going to roll in the flashback tables to define a question or choose one that appeals, and we just describe a brief scene that happened on a past Fang mission. And so roll a d6, and you're going to roll 2d6s ultimately.
That's a 2.
So this is the flashback context. First table, you were rescuing POWs in a thunderstorm on a previous Fang mission, and roll the second one.
5.
POWs in this world stands for prisoners of werewolves.
So the question from this context, in which Chuck was rescuing some POWs in a thunderstorm, is you won't let a character, which would be one of the other players, which one?
I'm going to say Cosgrave because Flint's just fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean,
So you won't let Cosgrave see you fail like this. What do you respect most about them?
About Cosgrave?
Yes.
I like the way he talks.
So describe a brief scene where you were rescuing some POWs and Cosgrave was involved and you didn't want him to see you fail.
That's the flashback.
Thanks, Austin. We couldn't have done it without that sound effect.
Well, partners, it was a dark and stormy night.
God
Me
damn
and
it.
Cosgrave was rescuing these POWs, and going to be honest with you, I was a little worried that we weren't going to make it out of there. And I looked over at Cosgrove, and I says, Cosgrove, I'm not feeling like much of a huckleberry tonight. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He looked at me and he said, why don't you just eat one of them prisoners and get some more energy before you save the rest of them, chap?
Okay. So you get 2 more dice to add to your pool.
Okay.
And you get to roll all of them again.
Nice.
Ooh,
Now, your second result stands.
Right.
And you can remember, you can only do this once per session.
It's a pool of 5, so
That's a really cool mechanic. I like that a lot.
Now, of course, each of you can do it once.
Yeah.
It's not just one player.
Okay.
Chuck remembers back to Cosgrave encouraging him to just eat one of the prisoners. So the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah.
All right, that's 2 6s, so that's 4 successes.
Yeah.
And then I rolled a 1, and since I'm a corpse eater, that gives me 1 blood automatically. I get a blood for every 1 I roll.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
There are a lot of bodies in the street. You're picking up a snack as you walk over.
Absolutely. Just casually drop down and eat a fella. And then
Chuck would never feast on a horse, though. He spent too
No.
much time at the prairie.
yeah.
He knows their value.
Absolutely. And then he walks over, he reaches up and pulls the cop down off of the horse
Jute-le!
and bites into his neck, drinks his blood, and then hops up on the horse.
So you got 4 successes. Well, you got 2 6s, I should say, which
Yes.
which I believe you have to allocate it by die. Like, I don't think you can split the successes on a 6.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I got 1 success on my threat,
Okay.
on my attack. And it's a 6, but it doesn't matter. It's still only 1. So how do you want to divide your dice?
Can I use 2 of those to counter your attack?
You can. You can use one of your 6s to counter my attack.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
And then you'd have 1 6 left. And there are 3 points left on the objective. So you could end the scene right now and take a mild injury.
Okay.
Or you could let it go 1 more round. So the police will grow stronger
Hold on. I am
if you guys go another round.
I am going to take a mild injury
Okay.
because
They're fun.
no, it turns out I'm even more xenomorph-like than I thought I was because my body contains corrosive fluids.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I thought it's because you hugged faces. That's how you drink blood. You don't go for the neck. Suck it right out of the face.
Yeah, just face and nose. Just
It's upsetting.
when I mark an injury,
Yes.
I reduce the rating of a threat that I'm engaged with by 2. So by taking the injury, I automatically reduce the threat.
Yes. So you would reduce the police threat, one of the police threats by 2.
Yeah.
Now that does not reduce the objective.
No.
But okay.
But
so
I
you are
still
gonna-
have 2 that I can.
Got it. So you still got 2 6s. You've already got some blood from the 1 you rolled.
Yes.
Do you want to spend your 6s to completely take out the objective, or let it go to another round and get more blood?
Let's just finish it right here.
Okay. So those 2 6s that's 4 successes, so that's going to knock the objective out. So it's going to leave you with the 1 injury. So roll a d6. We'll see what it hits.
That's a 1. Just a flesh wound.
Okay, so mark that box.
You get more blood for that? Is it any time you roll a 1 on any check?
No, not on this.
okay.
This is
Yeah,
not
it has to be a roll
yeah.
of my pool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is just on the an injury table.
Gotcha.
So Todd, you can narrate what happens with the police officer, and then I'll narrate the attack against you that wipes out one of the police squads.
Okay, well, like I said, Chuck pulls the policeman off the horse, bites his neck, drinks his blood, and then climbs upon the horse and does one of those, like, rears the horse back on his 2 legs like a cowboy.
Yeah.
And says, yeehaw.
Okay.
No.
And he rides the horse off?
Yes.
Never to be seen again. Todd, here's your new character.
Chuck he's galloping the horse down the street, a bunch of policemen screaming at him. One of them football tackles him, jumps up on a car, leaps through the air, football tackles Chuck off this horse. They land in the street. Policemen are just dogpiling and punching him, kicking him. One of them pulls out a service revolver and blasts Chuck at point blank range. And acid blood flies everywhere, all over their faces and hands. And they're screaming as their eyeballs pop and melt, and their teeth are just falling out of their faces, just falling around. And Chuck stands up and says,
Y'all ain't no daisies. No, wait, I'm in France. Y'all ain't no water lilies.
and Chuck gets back on his
Fleur-de-lis.
horse and disappears into the darkness. And so the scene at the Place de la Sarine has ended.
It's a little wet.
You escape into the shadows of Paris.
So, yeah, basically after we've finished our individual endeavors, we just kind of consolidate in a...
Yeah, you guys would have had a rendezvous point.
Sure.
Cool.
So before you guys deployed, of course, we decided on the fly, but the original mission parameters always knew where you were going to land. And you had set up a place to...
Oh, so that was on purpose?
Yeah.
I'll just land at the cafe.
Yeah.
Well, it was a relatively unguarded sector of Paris.
Got it.
They didn't want to drop you into a Nazi regiment. Turns out.
Americans, isn't it?
So you had set up a rendezvous point previously.
Okay.
And this will be the next objective, but we'll also have a short recovery moment before that.
Okay.
So were you going to rendezvous at the graveyard, the Grand Magasin Martin, or the Hotel L'Etoile? L'Etoile? I'm not sure how you say that.
The toilet.
Hotel L'Etoile, I think is how it's supposed to be.
That's actually the name of the
Or-
Barrel and Bond bathroom.
So were you going to rendezvous at the graveyard, the Grand Magasin Martin, or the Hotel L'Etoile?
Can we use a different word than rendezvous? I don't want to speak any more French than I have to.
Where are we going to meet up?
Well, I tell you, partners, where I come from, we'd just call it a good old-fashioned come-to-Jesus meeting.
Okay. Boy, you said it, Flint.
I think we should meet at the hotel. That would be the easiest place to find some more blood before we go.
This is my favorite Austin character.
So it's not that Flint can't talk. It's just that everyone would rather him not.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
sure.
down with that.
He's like the G.G. Allen of Vampire Warriors.
Oh, okay. He just shits everywhere. By the way, don't be alarmed about that sucking sound. It's just me chest wound.
So the hotel?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The Hotel L'Etoile is a very swish hotel catering to families of visiting dignitaries, and it has one of the last functional grand pianos in Paris. Takes pride of place in the 6-story bar.
Sure, they would think nothing of a British vampire walking in with a sucking chest wound
Screeching man bat.
and a cowboy.
Yeah, you meet in a...
We come in disguised as bellboys.
Well, I was going to say in the empty boiler room in the basement.
Gotcha.
Works.
You can hear the sounds of a dinner party going on above you, full of Nazi officers having drinks and dinner. The stamp of the staff. You could smell food roasting and wafting down. It smells horrible to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
But you have a moment to catch your breath and talk about how you're going to ransack this hotel to get... Because it will be your next objective, getting through it and taking it out.
Don't have breath.
Very true.
So what's the objective? We're trying to take control of the hotel?
Well, you're just going to... Basically, you're working your way through Paris, causing chaos to both advance closer to the Eiffel Tower and draw off the forces around it.
And kill people.
And kill people. Yeah, and just because chaos. Because you want to cause a ruckus in the outer parts of Paris so that some of the German troops around the Eiffel Tower come out here.
Absolutely. Okay, that makes more sense. So we are trying to draw out the enemy a little bit more.
Yeah, because you don't want to show up at the Eiffel Tower and there's a division
Okay.
around it.
That makes sense to me.
Good.
So your next objective will be to essentially demolish the hotel and cause more chaos.
We're going to move through this hotel like a bad case of bed bugs.
Dear Lord, man, shut up, will ya?
Well, I tell you what, partners, from the sound of it and the smells of it, it looks like we got us a genuine Nazi buffet up there.
Yeah, I think we got a dinner party to go to.
I'm gonna kill the maitre d'.
So the next objective would be make a suitable entrance to the dining room,
A suitable entrance.
and
Can do.
we will pick up there next week.
All right. This is going to be fun.
I've had fun. I thought the opening scene was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is really cool.
It's a very fun game.
The gameplay is pretty cool so far. It's quite different than a lot of stuff we played for sure.
Yeah, but honestly, it kind of lends itself to what we do a little bit more just because it's so... I thought 2D20 was as open ended as it gets, especially Dune when it came to describing what happened and characters' motivations and stuff like that. But
Sure.
this is kind of on a different level. This allows for a lot more imagination.
There are plenty of games that do that. We haven't played any of them, and they're more indie. But
Yeah.
I think you would probably like Blades in the Dark quite a lot.
Yeah. So thank you to the developer. Who is it? Tucker, Dale, and McGill.
It's a law
McGillicuddy?
firm.
Borgen, Bunsen, Bean.
Yeah, Rowan, Rook, and Deckard Limited.
Oh, okay. That actually, I've made fun, but that sounds really cool.
It does. Printed in Latvia by Livonia Press.
Deckard is a replicant, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the UK. Rowan, Rook, and Deckard.
No
Sheffield.
way. With a name like that?
Yeah.
Got it.
So maybe some of our UK listeners can go to their house and steal some of their copies.
Yeah.
Because I want a copy, and I don't remember what we backed on the Kickstarter.
We backed the book for sure.
Oh, we did?
It's
Okay.
coming, yeah.
Yeah. But still, UK listeners, go commit crimes.
Yes.
For once in your goddamn life.
Yeah.
For once, they're the British. They don't commit.
Well, I mean, like
Their existence is a crime.
I know. I mean, like for life experience,
Yeah.
not like war crimes.
You look
They
in the
all-
war crime section, and it's just Britain.
Yeah,
And then, America.
neck and neck.
Yeah. Well, look, hey, we have a lot of fun on Bastard Quest.
Yeah.
But you know what's also fun? Punching Nazis.
Yeah,
Or eating them.
yeah. I'm down.
Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for all our Patreon members. We'll have some Patreon members in the next episode. Maybe not even all of them as bad guys, but probably most of them as bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle asked us a question early on where if we wanted most of the carnage to be mostly inflicted on Nazis or if we were okay with civilian collateral damage. And we were like, is that even a fucking question?
Yeah, I mean, they know you're bad people.
Well, the French, they're guilty by association. Don't allow yourself to be occupied.
Sure.
Rule number 1.
Yeah.
America's never done it.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah. Looking at you, Canada. You better know better.
Well, look, Canada is one of the few countries on Earth that has outright defeated an American invasion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we invaded Canada in the Revolutionary War.
Oh,
It did not go well.
cold up there.
They barely even had to do anything. They just sat up there at the top and we just had to go through millions of miles of wilderness.
Yeah, it was a very close run thing. It almost worked.
Yeah.
Actually.
Until we saw the gravy on the French fries, and we were like, why do we
What?
want this?
Yeah, there was, I think
Why
it
do
was,
they keep saying a boot?
it was the siege of Montreal or Quebec. I can't remember which one, but it almost succeeded, and Canada would have been the 14th
State.
colony.
It's a big ass state, son.
Well, at the time, it was mainly Eastern Canada.
Yeah, but it's an entire country of reasonable people. We could use that in America.
Yeah.
Oh, they have their maggots.
Yes, they do.
I'm sure.
But it would have been cool if we would have gotten all of Canada. I mean, just to balance out dealing with Texas.
It's hard to say. We'll lock down that fucking electoral college.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right on the banks of the Ohio River.
Ohio River.
Their restroom is a toilette. It's French now.
True.
Yes.
Lots of bourbon, small plates, mixed drinks. They got beer and wine and stuff too. But
Friendly folks.
oh yeah,
No
Great
coffins
people.
dropping from the sky.
Also, thank you to all of our patrons. We appreciate you. Thank you for just listening. Everyone who's listened to the show, we're getting more and more listeners, it seems like, every week and every month, and we could not be happier and more grateful to you guys for being there for us.
I could definitely be happier.
And if you want to add some more dice to your pool, don't forget about
Norse Foundry. They're on the internet.
It's actually GeronimoDice.com, not Norse Foundry. It's weird. No, it's Norse Foundry, of course.
NorseFoundry.com. They have all manner of dice made from all manner of materials. They also have merch. I saw the other day they're making they have dice keychains and dice earrings, all kinds of cool stuff. Make great stocking stuffers. And if you enter the promo code CHAM, that's CHAM, you get a 10% discount.
Fun times. Thank you again for listening. We'll be back next week with more Eat the Reich.
Yeah.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.